Hey everybody, it's Jackie. So I did I did once again I did Tome Topple this round. Unfortunately, my Tome Topple did not go exactly in the direction I wanted it to go, or I intended to go. But I did read some tomes, and I'm almost finished with one of them. But that was kind of a spur of the moment book choice. It was a book that I wanted to reread, like I read a long time ago, and I want to reread it, having seen the movie version not that long ago. And I saw it at the library. I went. It was kind of like a impulsive decision. Um, Sorry, I'm adjusting the camera. Okay, so the two books I ended up reading, I did read a little bit of Clash of Kings, but I have a problem with, when I go on vacation, I bring like 4 books, and with books, books, unless they're written like in a YA novel, it's a little harder for me to focus on them when I have other books that are a little easier to read. Because, I know that people are like, why is it so hard to read, a tome? It shouldn't be that hard, But, first of all, the print is small, and there's a lot more details, you're given a lot more information, and it's not, for me anyway, it's not about fear. It's about that there's just so much. It's more like, a better word is overwhelming, I think, with tomes, there's just this print, like, unless you don't get the mass market paperbacks, the non-mass market paperbacks are bigger print, and smaller print just makes it hard for me to concentrate. So it's kind of mostly about that. It's harder for me to read smaller print books. So it's not fear, and it's not like I feel like I can't relate. Especially now, I can definitely relate now. Maybe when I was a teenager I couldn't relate, but I definitely can relate now because if that was a problem for me, because I am 28 years old, so I am an adult. I am closer to the age of the people in these adult books. But again, I know I keep saying this, but it's partly the small print, and it's just so dense. Like, adult fiction is so dense and has so much information, especially like something like Outlander or Game of Thrones or Song of Ice and Fire. But anyway, so surprisingly, of course, naturally, the tomes I ended up being able to get into more were 2 YA novels. Okay, so anyway, these are both actual rereads. First, I'm going to show you. I've been rereading the Harry Potter series. And technically, this is my second time rereading it. But the first time I didn't. I think I got like halfway through Order of the Phoenix, and I don't know why. It's not my favorite, but I still don't understand why I wouldn't have stopped reading it. Because it's not necessarily a boring book. It's just but I did stop reading it at some point, so I decided to try again. I've gotten to the 4th book, Goblet of Fire, which is one of my favorites. I didn't get that far in this one. I got pretty far, but not even like halfway. I got to the part where they're already at school and they're getting ready to submit. Students are submitting their names and stuff. And I'm glad I'm rereading these books because there's so much that they couldn't include in the movie because most movies have to be generally 2 hours long. I know Titanic and Lord of the Rings and Avatar movies like that were 3 hours, but in most cases most movies are 2 hours long. That's why a lot of finales. One of the reasons anyway is so why they make a 2-part finale is because they can't include everything they want to include, but it's also, and of course it's also you get a chance to make more money if you do a part 2. But I do believe it's partly because, there's stuff, a lot of times the 3rd books, or the 4th books, the last book in the series is extra long, But most people probably just say, oh no, it's about the money. but I don't think I think that's only half the reason. I mean, maybe I'm giving them too much credit, um, but so right now we're on the part with the Goblet where they're getting ready to submit their names. But there's so much stuff, like, and I feel like I know they couldn't include the House Elf Liberation Front that Hermione started in the movie because it wasn't important to the plot. It was a side plot, and it wasn't important to the main point. And they had, in the movies, of course, they have to include the main. They have to get to the main point, which is Harry and his journey and what he goes through, and that's the main focus of the story. So they can't really do too much of the subplots. And then there's other little things, like character things that they couldn't include. So that was, but it was still, but again, the adaptations were in the Harry Potter is pretty good. I mean, it's really good for an adaptation. And the same thing for the other one, the other tome that I'm going to tell you that I read, because that one was. That movie was actually pretty good, but rereading the book for the first time in a long time, I do notice there are a lot of things that were left out. A lot of things I didn't realize that weren't, like, basically, that weren't in the movie or weren't explained in the movie. There's one little aspect that I was a little surprised by when as I reread that particular book that isn't really mentioned in the movie. But this fourth book is still one of my favorites. Not my number one favorite because I don't know if I would say Azkaban is my number one favorite or they're tied together. And also I like the sixth one, but I'm going by the movie version because I don't remember the sixth book all that well. But I'm sure I will like the sixth book because I do like the storyline and in the sixth story. So hopefully I'll get to that. As long as I keep going with the fifth book and actually finish it, I will get to the book 6, and then I will get to the last one. I don't know. Again, I don't know why I stopped. I mean, maybe it did get boring for me. I hate to think that, but although it's not boring, it's not a boring book. It's just, But anyway, in fact, the whole, I think the scene in the classroom where Moody is telling about I think it's even more dramatic well, I don't know if I would say it's more dramatic in the book or the movie, but that's one of my favorite scenes. But that one comes in the book. That one actually comes before the other students come. Again, I understand the reasons why they changed the things and didn't include things I would have liked for them to include. But I had just realized, actually, I think I already mentioned this in one of my other videos where I was talking about, I did not realize that these two were actually Crumb and Cedric. I thought they were, I thought, at first, I don't know why, but I thought it was Barty Crouch and Barty Crouch Jr. I don't know why I thought that, but I did when I first saw this cover. That's just, I don't know why it's weird why I was thinking that, but so far that's still one of my favorites, and I shall continue reading it because I do want to finish, and I want to read the last 3. I think there's 3 books after sorry, I'm bad at I have to think about that. Okay, so there's the rest of book 4, book 5, so that's 2, 4. No, there's 4 books if I include the 4th book, in which I am technically not finished, so I shouldn't include it. I'm sorry, anything to do with numbers my brain won't work right. So next book I read that I actually got the farthest in, that I'm practically almost finished. There isn't much left I have to read, and that is The Host by Stephenie Meyer. Unfortunately, which I felt kind of bad because as soon as when the book came out, I'm sure as soon as it was mentioned that as soon as I found out Stephenie Meyer wrote this book, I feel, and the same author wrote Twilight, I feel like that made people a little reluctant to read it, because a lot of people hate Twilight. I still think it was a decent series. I mean, it had a lot of flaws, and especially, like, I feel like the two choices, now that I'm older, I've come to realize that the two choices that Bella had were not the best. And that's putting it nicely. So, but I feel bad because this is a really good book, I feel like. I mean, it's not perfect. And, like, one of the things I do agree with, Pages and Pens, Julie, about the whole fact, I think it's her who said it. Of course, it probably was because she's the only one I watched a video about this book. That she said the male characters still kind of have that, I'm the man, and I must protect the woman. That whole macho, mentality, which is, I mean, compared to the whole, there's some variations of that mentality. Like, the two guys in this story, I'm okay with that kind of, I'm okay with that. I mean, I don't like it, but it's a little easier to deal with than the whole mentality of, the men who like to control their women and are really aggressive about it, even if they have good intentions. I can't stand aggressive men who are very controlling, or I don't like a woman that doesn't stand up for herself when a man is acting controlling. At least, like, Wanda and Melanie, I think, kind of stand up for themselves. I mean, yeah, Melanie's a lot tougher than Wanda, and Wanda's not exactly a fighter, and she's not someone who likes to kill willingly. She always tries to find a way to avoid that, but she still will defend herself and still stand up for herself. Which brings me, there's something in the book when Jared was on the fence about believing Wanda, about Melanie still being inside her head, and how Kyle tried to kill Wanda. And then Jared was he was, like I said, he was on the fence. And he still referred to her as it when he was like he was saying like Kyle, because both Ian and Jared and Jeb knew that, and Jamie probably knew that Wanda was lying when she said that Kyle did not try to kill her, that they just slipped. And Jared referred to her as it, and she basically finally snapped and was like, okay, I am a female, alright? I am not it. I am a she. And they were like, wait, what, how, I mean, like, they weren't sure if they believed that Wanda was female, because she's just an alien. They figure there's no differentiating between male and female, I guess, at the time. And then she said, basically pointed out that she's female because she carried, like humans, she carries the babies. But unfortunately, that led to an awkward conversation where she explained about the whole process of childbearing in the Souls version of childbearing. I thought that was a really funny scene, and I wish they had that in the movie, especially because it really shows Wanda being like, no, I am a female. I'm an individual. I have life. I'm a female. I have a personality. I deserve, she's like standing up for herself, and I wish that they included the show, because it could show Wanda standing up for, show Wanda being a stronger character. Not that she wasn't shown as strong, but it's just one of those little moments that I think it would really show prominently how strong of a person she is, an entity she is, that she has life, and she's not just an alien soul, which she thinks and feels. Let's see. As you can see, I'm almost done. It's mainly, I mean, there's so many chapters in here that are more about the characters thinking and stuff, and there's not, and that's, I guess, what makes it long, is because some of the chapters are not even, they're little moments about characters, Wanda and Melanie, thinking and dealing with certain things and emotions. There's, and it's not just about Wanda's relationship with the two boys and her brother. There's so much they could not include Sharon. They didn't include Sharon in the movie. And they didn't include, Walter. And I feel, like Kyle had a smaller part in the movie. And there's, Walter is one of the humans that defends Wanda because he starts to like her and everything. And then he ends up, but he has cancer, and unfortunately he has to leave this world, and he starts, while he's dying, Walter starts seeing like his wife as in Melanie and Wanda. So she holds his hand and connects with him and is there for him when he's in pain and he's taking his last breaths, which I think was a really sweet scene. So it's more than just the romance between the little love square, which I love. That is gotta be the most awkward and entertaining love triangle thing ever, because it's not really even love triangle, it's a love square, because it's two women in the same body. The two guys love you have Jared who loves Melanie, and then you have Ian who's starting to fall in love with Wanda, and Wanda has feelings for Jared, but that's only because Melanie's feelings have kind of influenced her. Her memories and stuff, it's like too much for her, to the point where she ends up falling for Jamie and Jared too. She loves them both. Of course, Jared can't love Melanie and but Ian or Jared, no, not Melanie. He can't love Wanda. So it's just a really interesting little crazy love story. And then like Maggie and Sharon, Melanie's cousin, are kind of a little more prominent. They hate Wanda because she's one of the aliens, and they have a hard time getting past that she's one of the aliens. That they still see her as the enemy, despite the fact that she has shown time and time again that she won't betray them. They still don't trust her. They're keeping the guard up and stuff. And I really like and then, what's really heartbreaking for Wes is Wes does get killed. He's mentioned as the one getting killed by the Seeker in the movie, but he also has he has his own little romance with another one of the humans, another character, which is it was really sweet, and of course, but again, it's not important to the main plot. So, I mean, I get, again, just like with the Harry Potter movies, I get why they take out some of this stuff, but sometimes I wish they would put it back in there. That's why, hence why I said Harry Potter, I wish that had been made into a TV show. But, again, these adaptations are great, though. They're good compared to some adaptations. And I feel bad that I'm becoming one of those nagging fans who's like, oh, I hate the movie. The movie's not going to be as good as the book, or, oh, the movie sucks. Because the movies don't suck, but, I mean, I feel like that's the impression I'm getting by constantly nitpicking and be like, I wish it had this and this, oh, I wish they hadn't been able to do this, and oh, Harry Potter would have been such a good TV show because of this, and they could have done this, and, I mean, I made a whole video about that. But it's not that I hate the screen adaptations, the movie adaptations, it's just, I mean, I almost think a TV show would be better. But again, they were great adaptations. Nothing wrong. They were good with what we were given. And I appreciate what we were given. I'm glad that we had something. Because I like when I have a screen adaptation, because yes, books are all about using your imagination, but sometimes it's nice to have something to, not just making it up in your head, but you actually have something to recall. And plus, even when I'm reading to myself and not out loud, I still hate hearing my version of the characters. And for some reason, I can't put the inflection of how the emotions when I'm reading to myself. I mean, I try, but then when I'm reading, I just forget about it. Like scenes when the character is crying out, or really emotional, or... I mean, of course, I guess it doesn't matter because I'm just reading it in my head, but I just feel bad because I can't I feel like I can't recall a tone. But anyway, this is really, I'm glad I reread this book too. There's so much, like I said, there's so much in the book that I feel like that I wish had been in the movie, but it wasn't. But, and I just, it reminds me so much, of what I missed, because I read this book a long time ago, and I ended up getting rid of it because my mom, wanted me, because I have so many books, and my mom was wanting me to do something good with, instead of, keeping all my books, donating the ones that I don't, that I might not necessarily read again. So, and The Host was one of those books, because, at the time, I wasn't sure if I would ever go back to reread it again. But I'm glad that the library had it. This is the one I actually obviously made progress on, and I made the most progress on. And again, I feel bad that because this was the same author with the Twilight series, and that wasn't entirely well received, except for maybe by teenagers. Well, more so. I mean, there are some people in my age group that still have a soft spot for it, still, and I do too. But I get in the Twilight there are a lot of flaws. But I feel bad because as soon as people realize, they're like, "Oh, I don't want to read it. I don't want to read the same, book by the same author who wrote Twilight. It's not going to be good." Luckily, there were some people who were willing to give it a chance because this book is great. It's Stephenie Meyer's improved. And that's the thing. I feel like you gotta at least try to give a chance. I mean, I know there are a lot more times when an author clearly has not improved and it's still the same, but sometimes, but yeah, I mean, and who knows, maybe she'll be one of those authors that will like have bad books and then good books, bad books, good books, bad books, good books, and which isn't necessarily a bad thing. But, I mean, I haven't read The Chemist, so I don't know, and I honestly have no interest in reading The Chemist. I mean, maybe I will one day. But this, like I said, this is such an improvement because it really deals with it's not just about the romance. It's about human nature and what defines us as human. And even though this soul, Wanda, is not literally physically human, she becomes very human. She begins to learn about their emotions and begins to understand them. And since then, I've always loved science fiction stories where you look at the whole idea of the human condition and an alien creature, or even in some case, or even an android becoming human. I like that. Although it seems like I've seen more of the android story of an android becoming human than an alien. I definitely would love to see more of these stories of an alien adapting to the human world and becoming actually human and caring about the humans and being compassionate for us, and understanding us. But the android story is another one of my favorites. I've seen quite a few of those. I can't decide between if Data's storyline and Andrew's storyline is more my favorite. Which one between those two is my favorite? Although I liked AI, the storyline in that one too. But of course, I haven't finished Star Trek Next Generation yet. I'm only on season 3. I'm almost done with season 3. So, but that's another one that has that same kind of themes of deciding that with, or at least that character's arc has the same kind of themes that the host has. The idea of what defines us as human. I mean, even if we physically aren't human, can we still be seen as human? Can we have a soul? Can we have compassion? Can we feel like humans do? And that's what this novel deals with. And, and how an alien, someone that's seen as an alien, be loved just as passionately, just as strongly as a human can. Even if, does that mean just because they're not physically human does not mean that they're not human? That's the question this story asks. So I'm glad I reread it, and I hope to continue, and I'm going to try to finish it soon so I can just take this one back and then recheck out the other one I got, which is not a tome actually, but it looks like a tome. I'm currently recheck this one, and I might do what I have been doing, which is recheck out that one and then borrow another one. That's actually what happened. I was still finishing up another book that I borrowed, and I rechecked it out, and then The Magician's Lie, actually, and then I saw this one. I looked around, I saw this one, I borrowed this one, and then I had to so now I'm going to have to return, so now I'm going to return this one and recheck out The Alienist, and then maybe look around and see if there's anything else I'm interested in, which I'm sure there will be something that I'm mildly interested in. So, that was my tome Topple. Like I said, I did read a little bit of Clash of Kings. And I think another part of that reason is because I also got into readathon, and I'm doing pretty good on that. And luckily, I just found out that one of the challenges, I can read The Raven Boys. I didn't think I could, but thankfully I can. I'm able to read that book and finish that book. because I want to read. I'm making September my sequels month, where I read all the sequels, whether it's a second or a third book. And so far, they all have been second book. They're all second books. And I wanted to read the Dream Thieves during, I think, the Dream Thieves. I think that's the next book. I wanted to read that one in September. I'm calling it September sequels. But I kind of got sidetracked on that one because most of the books I'm reading for that are like quicker reads, and they're not tome length, so they're easier for me to get through, even if the chapters are really long. So anyway, again, that's my tome topple for this month. And hopefully I will do better next round. I might just stick with one book next round, or read 2 YA books next round. Whenever that will be. Alright, bye.